The biggest sports story of the year happened on Sunday, and I was sitting there on Twitter and I could not believe my eyes. The European Super League, after so many years of talking about it, it looks like it is going to happen. 12 teams, potentially 15, breaking off from their leagues to create a midweek Super League where these teams would play instead of the Champions League amongst each others, curtailing trips to Ukraine or Greece to play competitions, meat and potatoes, the big names of Europe playing each other in a competition. And I'll go over the list in case you don't know about it, but it is Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, Juventus, Inter, and Milan. 12 teams from 7 cities that are super, I guess. Part of the issue that I don't like it is, well, I would never call Arsenal or Tottenham Hotspur super. They haven't won anything. What makes them super? But the fact that they're in here tells you all you need to know. For this to get pulled off, it can't be 2 teams trying to do it. You need numbers. And that's the number. You need money, and you need all that backing from these clubs to pull it off. This is the Soccer OG. Please subscribe where we talk about the big stories. And today we're talking about the biggest story because this is the inmates turning on the asylum, so to speak. The clubs with the power, not the leagues, not the tournaments, not UEFA, not FIFA, the clubs usurping that. And think about it, what this effect will have across the world. Perhaps one day Major League Baseball, the Dodgers and the Giants and the Yankees say, you know what? We're going to do our own thing. And maybe they can pull it off. Maybe in the NFL, maybe the Celtics and the Lakers and a few others decide to do it. We're going to have a midweek tournament, just us. The clubs have the power. And I don't mind that from this perspective. I look at these clubs and these owners, and they have very deep pockets. Florentino Perez and the Agnellis, they're looking out for their kids. The clubs are their kids. And wouldn't you want to put your kid over? There is obviously a lot of money at stake. The reaction, certainly from Europe, has been a little bit odd. Every pundit saying how disgraceful this is, how they've ruined the sport, and there's a point of no return. And I'm like, huh? Okay. Listen, isn't FIFA and UEFA and the Premier League, hasn't it always been about money? Haven't they always shaped it to their liking and certainly had clubs and people destroyed in the process? It happens. This is the progress. This is the trajectory of our sport. This is the way it's going. And for you to say that we should have some decorum and this is a gentleman's sport, well, that means you're just naive. This is where we're going. And the globalization of the sport is another thing. There's a lot at play here, but when I see the reaction the way it was, it makes me chuckle for sure. Part of it is, and I know this is in play, is some of these clubs are owned by Americans. And clearly the American interest had a big say based on all the reports. Stan Kroenke, owner at Arsenal. John Henry and the Red Sox group, owner at Liverpool. The Glazers, the owners of Manchester United. Because the tournament they're looking to do will have like an NBA feel. You'll have best of 3 series. They want it Americanized. And some of the people in Europe just can't stand it. And my reaction to that is tough. Look, I love the Champions League. But change happens in sport. It's just very normal. And I think you got to disconnect from the romance of it all. Nothing's going to happen to the leagues. You're still going to get the rivalry games in England and Italy and Germany and everywhere else. But you're going to the one that's going to be affected is the UEFA Champions League. And they're not going to go quietly. But if UEFA and FIFA is also involved, and they said if you get involved with these super clubs, you can't play at the World Cup. I would love to see that hold up in court. Guess what? It ain't happening. UEFA won't have a case. If you want to take on these guys in court, you're going to lose. And I can tell you this. We've been talking about a Super League breakoff since the 1990s. These guys are really smart. They know what they're doing. They have looked under every stone. They've covered every detail. So if you're going to come with them legally, they are going to be ready because this has been cooking for a long time. And all those guys get their way. When you look at how it's going to fall out, you've got to certainly take into consideration what's it going to look like. Will it succeed? My answer to that is whether it's 2023 when they say, and by the way, they already have a website. If it's 2023 or 2025 or 2030, it's going to happen. The plan has been put in place. I don't think you can fight this. It's going to happen. So get used to it. And personally, my interest has been piqued a little bit. I've never been one for change, but I get used to it. I used to like the Cleveland Browns. Then one day, because of money, they got up and became the Baltimore Ravens. So I try to disconnect a little bit with the emotions and realize how sports go. And whatever the direction it goes, we adjust and we get used to it. This is going to be a seismic change, but it could be the beginning. Maybe we have a North American Super League. Maybe we have a global Super League in the years ahead. The one thing we have in common with this sport is we all play it all over the world. It connects us. So why not have a league that connects us? It's going to get a little bit messy. And, as I tape this on a Sunday night, Monday morning, everyone's going to wake up in Europe and there's going to be transcripts and lawsuits and this and that, and it's going to be messy. We're going to be in the U.S. going, ha, 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 ha. What's going on there? It could come to our shores too, though. But there's something to be admired about all this. The powers that be have disconnected from the European leagues. They have stepped aside, whether it's the Agnellis or Florentino Perez, and they are ready to take on this new league. It's all been brewing for so long, and now, despite people saying players can be banned and clubs going to be banned, you can't stop progress. What can I tell you? I got to say, when I was on Twitter and all of this was happening, the only day I could remember that was quite like it, and of course I'm a soccer fan and this is what I say, was when they got Osama bin Laden. Remember when people are going, big story happening, big story coming up, we can't tell you what it is, this, and then The Rock comes on out of nowhere and says, they got Osama bin Laden. This is just what happened. We were saying, this isn't going to happen. They're talking about it. And all of a sudden, an email, it says, it's happened. They have a website. And then Champions League is going to be postponed. No, we don't know that for sure. And then the World Cup will not allow these players. I was like, whoa, it's all happening. It was incredible. It was a rush of blood unlike any I have seen. So you can fight it, but you're going to lose. Do I have a team in those 12, 15? No. But I'm going to watch that competition, and it's only going to grow, as everything else does. There's been so many things in the sport that should have moved us away. VAR. I said I wasn't going to watch. VAR's ruined it. I watch about 30 hours a weekend. So there you go. A new day. Make sure you check us out here on the Soccer OG, not just on our YouTube program, but also on the Soccer OG podcast. I'll be joined by Mauricio Pedrosa. I will have this discussion go a little further out, in further detail, to kind of scope it all out and see what it all means. But this is, just thinking of the logistics and moving forward, they are going to move heaven and earth for this. But as I said, it's been planned for a long time, and it's going to happen. And the other big question you have to ask, is it going to be successful? While I don't think Tottenham Hotspur and Arsenal are super, this is going to be successful. And the Champions League and how that is looked upon could be in some peril. There is going to be a change to the European leagues. There's no doubt about it. The battle for those top 4 European spots, everything's going to be out of whack. And watching soccer is going to be different. But you adapt. Change is good. Make sure you check out the Soccer G, the podcast and the YouTube show. Let's keep it